Alright, so we have our HTML complete, and now we're going to use CSS to turn this horrible looking HTML page into a calendar. Alright, so let's go ahead and go to, you want to go to your style.css file, which should be empty. Alright, and we're going to start from the top and do the body. Okay, the only thing that I'm going to do with the body here is set the font family. And I'm actually going to use Tahoma, which I haven't used in a long time. Figured I'd switch it up. And we have our calendar class. Alright, so let's see. Okay, so I'm sorry, our calendar ID, which wraps everything. Alright, so we want to. I'm just going to set a width of 100%. Alright, now links. Okay, so I want all links to be a dark gray color. And text decoration, I'm going to set to none. We don't want any underlines. Okay, and let's do the unordered lists. UL, and I'm going to set all this. I don't want any bullets, so I'm going to set list style to none, and I'm going to zero out the padding and the margin, and I want to clear both. I want to clear any floats that come before it, and I'm going to set the width to 100%. Alright, so that'll do all the unordered lists on the page. Okay, now we'll do the list items. Actually, this should be a number sign. And then we'll do the list items. Alright, so we want to make sure that we display as a block. And we're going to float left. Okay, so each where's the finished one? No, it's in dev. Okay, so each cell, each day is a list item. So we want to obviously make sure they float. Okay, we're floating them to the left so they're in a straight line. We want them displayed as blocks. What else? I'm going to set the width to 14. Actually, I'm going to pop a number in here for a percentage. Okay. Okay, basically this number is going to give it, it's basically going to give us 7 list items in a row, okay, at 14 point something % each. And I'm going to set padding, initial padding at 5 pixels, and box sizing I'm going to set to border box. And the border is going to be 1 pixel. It's going to be solid, and it's going to be light gray. Whoop. Alright, now margin right, I want to set to -1 pixel. I kind of want them to run into each other. Same thing with the bottom, -1 pixel. Alright, so that'll apply to all the list elements. Now I want to get more specific, and I'm going to do the weekdays unordered list. So UL, do calendar UL dot weekdays, and we're going to give it a height of 40 pixels and a background of almost black. Okay, so that's for the unordered list itself. Now we want to do the individual list items. Okay, so we are going to text align to the center. Alright, and I'm going to text transform, and I want it to be, I want all the days to be uppercase. Alright, and let's set a line height We'll set this to 20 pixels, and I'm going to make sure that there's no border, and I'm going to make this important so it overrules any other border styles for this element. Padding, we'll do 10 pixels on the top and bottom and 6 pixels on the left and right, and we want to make sure that it's white, the text is white, and then I'm going to set font size to 13 pixels. Okay, so that'll do the weekdays, and let's just see what this looks like so far. Okay, so not bad. Our weekdays look pretty good. So now we have to do these individual list items which have a class of day. Okay, I'm sorry, the unordered list, which represents a whole row, is has a class of days. Alright, so let's do the days. So calendar, and by the way, in this project I'm putting the calendar div before everything else. Alright, but that's not actually needed. I could just do this. This is absolutely fine. Even this is fine, just the weekdays class. But sometimes I just like to kind of put the core element in there in certain projects. Alright, so calendar days. I'm sorry, we want to do days li. I want to do the actual list items. Alright, and then all I'm going to do here is set a height to 180 pixels, and that'll change all this. You see how these are all uneven. Okay, now we have a nice looking calendar. Alright, so we just got to style a few more things. I'm going to set a hover. Okay, when we hover over a block or a list item or a day, whatever you want to call them. Let me just put a hover here, and I'm just going to change the background. Change it to light gray. Okay, so now when we hover, you can see where you're at. Okay, so next I want to do the date. Okay, the date is this number here. Okay, I want those to kind of stick out a little bit. So we'll say calendar class date, and I'm going to set text align to center, and I'm going to put a margin on the bottom, move the content down a little bit, 5 pixels, and add an overall padding of 5 pixels, and then I want a background color of that dark, almost black color, and set the actual text color to white. Alright, and then I'm going to set a width of 25 pixels, a border radius. Now I want it to be round. I want it to have a round background. So I'm going to say border radius 50%. Okay, that's going to make it round. And then finally I just want to float it to the right of the cell. Okay, so if we reload, okay, so now our numbers have a background, they have padding, they look good. So now for the actual event. Alright, this is kind of ugly. I want to first of all make it a little smaller, and I want to add a background color of kind of a dark green, and then give it a border as well. Alright, so those are in a div class called event. Might as well put calendar here. So event. Okay, first of all we're going to clear both, and I'm doing this because the number here, alright, is floated to the right, and I want this content to be pushed under it. Alright, so we have to clear that float. That's why we're doing that. Alright, and I'm going to display as a block. Again, we want it on its own line. Font size, I'm going to change to 13 pixels, and border radius is going to be 4 pixels, and then padding 5 pixels, and I'm going to give it a margin top 40 pixels. I want to push it down a little bit, and also a margin bottom, and margin bottom is going to get 5 pixels. Okay, color, Here's going to be a dark gray. Line height. Let's see, line height, I'll make 14 pixels. And then the background color is going to be kind of a dark green, so we're going to do E4, F2, F2. Alright, border, say 1 pixel, solid, and that's going to be also a shade of dark green, so B5, DBDC. And what else? The color of the text will also be a dark green. It's going to be 009 AAF. Alright, and then finally the text decoration will be none. Alright, so that's the event block itself. Alright, let's take a look at that. Okay, so that looks pretty good. The event description, I want it to stand out, so I'm going to actually make that a dark grayish color. So we can say calendar event description is going to be color 666, and I'm going to set a margin too to kind of bring it away from the date. We'll set it to 3 top, 0, 7 on the bottom to separate it from the date. And then text decoration none. Alright, so now, actually that's good, let's save that. Alright, there we go. So we want to separate the month. Okay, so this 27 to 31 is going to actually be July, and then down here we have September. So we want these to be colored differently, and we gave them all a class of other month. Okay, so let's say calendar dot other month. Alright, and I'm going to set the background here to F5, 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 and that needs a number sign. Alright, and then just change the color to a dark gray. Alright, save that. And there we go. So that's it for the main Page CSS. It's not responsive yet. You can see that is just absolutely horrid. So in the next video, we're going to make this calendar responsive.